girl, Nimmo. How you doing, guys?
Feeling great, thank you.
How was that? You're on tour with Self Esteem.
Yeah, it's great. Manchester's just always the one. Always the one.
Yeah,
Isn't it?
best crowd.
Best crowd.
Like, everybody's just up for it. I feel like they understand our genre. And
Always say you put a kick drum on and they're like, yes, it's a fall to the floor, it's in my soul.
they're
A
locked.
band on the wall, such a great space here as
It's
well.
amazing.
Yeah.
We've never been here before.
No, never.
Yeah, it's
Wow,
really good.
so you've had an initiation.
Yeah, we have. The sound's
Full on
amazing.
one. Intense initiation, but...
So good that you're on tour with the Self Esteem, which is obviously a thing about totally being yourself, which actually fits for you guys too.
It's the
doesn't
brief,
it?
Nell's brief.
Yeah, it's good. Like, she's really cool and amazing, and her whole crew are really nice. And then she asked us to do the full tour because she was like, "Oh, you couldn't do it before," and so it's kind of a no-brainer. But yeah, it's been a nice fit actually.
You've not been initiated into the t-shirts yet.
Not yet.
In terms
but
of what?
I've got,
Wait, what?
But
The
in
Self
terms
Esteem
of the,
t-shirt
like,
collection.
I have one, yeah. Is
yeah,
that what you
Reva has
asked?
one.
Yeah.
Reva got one for her birthday
Oh, did you?
because it was her birthday
I just
3
fucking
days
linked
ago.
it. I don't know if it was for my birthday.
I think it was.
And you've had such a journey in the music industry. I mean, tell us what happened in the beginnings of your journey in the music industry.
So we left university and we got signed to a major label. We got management. Well, if we're going right back, Agnes Dean made a music video for us out of the blue, and then that kind
Amazing.
of was luckily really like catapulted us forwards. And we signed a record deal with Columbia, which was incredible. We had amazing people around us, but it was just too soon, and we were kind of not ready to make the moves that they wanted us to
like,
make.
oh my god, that one amazing song you have, like, give me 20 of those. And you're like, don't remember making it. Like, do you know what I mean? It's just like I needed more time to get there. It wasn't like I couldn't just churn out 20 of that one song that you like. You know what I mean? That was, everything was kind of, the foundation for signing us was all based on like, there's this one track, and it's like,
Yeah, and it's really difficult when you're
it
also
came from
like,
a genuine place. Like, it wasn't something that we were like manufactured into, like, do you know what I mean? Just generating like that. So it just takes a while, and that's fine. And I'm glad we didn't push through it.
yeah,
I'm
definitely.
glad we did it like on our own terms. Otherwise, I'd be like sitting here really embarrassed right now.
Yeah.
Like, that major embarrassing thing you've seen me release. Do you know what I mean?
But that
It
was
didn't
the
happen.
reason it didn't work, was because
Exactly.
we had like, there was a resistance to kind of push forward when we knew we
Yeah.
weren't ready. So they were obviously like, well, you've stepped into this template, we've signed you, this is the way it goes, you do this, you put your record out, blah, blah, blah. And we were kind of being like, digging our heels in the whole time, being like, whoa, we're not really ready to do that, we're still just going to sit in the studio for 6 months and do this. And they were like, well, that's nice, but we've also invested quite a lot of money in you, so can we move forwards? And we just weren't ready to move forwards with the material and all. I don't know, we were just still figuring it all out. So and we naturally work in a kind of DIY fashion. It's like it just suits us. It's just the way we kind of have always been, and so it's been nice to bring that back, but also have all that kind of industry experience. And like Reva said, have had just a massive nod from the industry that you can.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Because always we had belief in ourselves. Or you know, we never doubted ourselves for a second, even when we probably should have doubted ourselves.
Because
We
I think
didn't.
when you're like, we're not.
But
perfect.
it is nice when
Someone
you know,
bought it, and someone will buy it again when it's the time's right. You know what I mean?
exactly.
So-
You found your family though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You found your vibe.
Absolutely.
Yes.
You are happy with where
We
you are at.
We are very
And-
happy.
Yeah.
And the album is finally out.
Yeah,
It's
the
out.
album's out. It's kind of like this. It's kind of like this bittersweet thing for me, where I love it, but it's kind of like this kind of, you know, Sony. It existed within Sony, half of it, and then half of it didn't. Me and Sarah pulled it together independently and just needed to get something out. So it's kind of like, I would say, like a project that's not fully representative of, like, you know what I mean, what I kind of like feel is the true representation of us, but it is the journey. It's the journey. It's like the beginning of our journey, and that needed to happen.
I think, finally it is a representation of us because of the fact that that's where we were at.
That's what I mean. No, that's what I mean.
But yeah, I know what you mean. That, like, you know, it was part of a journey that was like super chaotic and fragmented at times, and
I mean,
we
over
can feel
5
that.
years, you can only represent so much
Yeah.
of yourself because you change so much. So
Yeah,
like,
but-
it can't be said fully representative. You know what I mean? In 5 years, it's like it's kind of a malleable thing that you're like.
But you look at like the way artists are working now, and they don't rush necessarily into dropping
Yeah,
an album. It
exactly.
is about building
Exactly,
profile,
yeah.
and you
That's
have
what I mean,
had
I
a
can hear
whole
rush.
raft of releases
Exactly.
and different remixes with some really incredible names like
Yeah.
Mary Jane Coles.
Yeah.
I mean, you have really
Yeah.
pushed through and shown different sides of yourself to actually get to that point, haven't you? Really?
No,
Yeah.
for sure. Because we did that EP with Maya before Christmas. The last Christmas, when was that? Yeah, before Christmas. That was great, and that was actually really nice because we were like, let's put a little body of work out before the record. Let's kind of like, we went away to Lisbon and we did some writing, shot some videos, and just like had a bit of a laugh, to be honest. But like, yeah, that was kind of a nice little warm up in terms of like being independent, releasing something on your own, doing all the photos on your own, the videos, doing like a little independent release. And then we were like, okay, cool, we're prepped for the record now.
Yeah.
So it was good training.
Got it all down. Have
Yeah.
you worked in the same way for the last few years, like through the EP to the album then, like in the same space with the same people?
Yep, completely, exactly the same. Like we've worked with Louis
Which
Banks.
is just minimal, yeah.
Yeah, Louis Banks as a photographer who is incredible. We've been directing all the videos ourselves and then working with a DOP called Joel Stagg, and that's it. And then working with a PR, a booking agent and a radio person, you know, like a small team. That's literally it.
But you're also very DIY yourself. You seem to know that you to
exactly.
reach out to people, how to get
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah. We totally do all of that's all our
And it's
on
like
our own.
if you like look at me and Sarah and then you try and do something and you get it slightly wrong, it would be awful. So it's actually really important that we steer the project. Do you know what I mean?
No,
It's like shit could go catastrophically if someone tries to like make a little adaptation of what this is.
How
It's
hard
happened before.
You know what
How
I mean?
hard is it to get a team around you that you're really comfortable with, that you know will represent you the way that you want to be represented?
Not that hard. You just need
I was
to
just about
sack
to say,
everybody else off that's telling
Also, you
you.
need to just kind of get out of the industry of it a little bit and be like, oh fuck, actually, it's people around me anyway. You know what I mean? Like, kind of just get more hands on with like your friends and your friends of friends and like your community, and not so much like, you know what I mean, your major labels or whatever.
So you're in London, right?
Yeah.
So what's the community
Born and
like
bred.
where you are at the moment?
Great, yeah. We're in East
Great.
London. I feel like a lot of kind of when we left Sony, we kind of like Sarah got a job at this like a drag pub in East London.
Called The Glory.
Called
I don't
The
know if you
Glory.
know. But it's quite famous. And yeah, I was like, oh, do you know, we've got to get a job. I'm going to go work at a gay bar. I was like, yeah, I'm going to work at a gay bar. And suddenly I went work there and everyone was just like, you know, getting like hedonistic for 4 days at a time. And I was like, oh God. I was like, what have I got myself into? Because when I'm tempted, I will. So it was wild, but also like at the same time just met so many like-minded people. Suddenly realised like, you know, I'm not going to lie, I always felt a bit different actually, like often. And suddenly just met so many androgynous, queer, interesting people that just made me feel absolutely fucking normal.
You're fucking boring compared to them, mate.
Literally. So boring.
Pedestrian bitch. Like,
Literally.
everyone's literally like, oh, Nimmo coming, they're fucking dry.
So this is the thing though, over the last few years, do you feel there's been like a real building of a movement?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
like I'm looking at Youngblood and there's an NME cover that I've just seen
No,
today where
yeah,
he's
it
dressed
is
as a woman in
amazing,
one photo and then man in
No,
the
it's
other.
amazing,
And it's you know,
Wicked.
like
Yeah.
just so many people being able to be free,
It's not
exactly
cool.
who they
it's
are.
not cool anymore, is it, to be fucking like, do you know what I mean? Like weird about that kind of shit, or to be really like traditional pedestrian when it comes to that shit. Like,
No.
it's really frowned upon. Do you know what I mean? It's like, because that's all it is, isn't it? It's just like a majorative kind of idea, like, you know what I mean? Like we've kind of pushed through in the last few years, where now it's like people would call you out on being like questioning people. Do you know what I
But
mean?
why
In a
when
way
we
that
have-
like I would say 3 years ago people wouldn't have called
It's
you out
mad
on that
though when
shit.
you
Do you know
look
what I mean?
back.
It's like, what?
It's
Is a
mad.
guy wearing a dress? What? It's like people wouldn't have maybe necessarily like kind of fought back on that
But
3 years ago.
It's mad when you look back at artists like David Bowie though,
Oh no!
and you're
we-
like,
oh, we
what? Why are we
consistently
even
talk about
having
this.
these
We talk
conversations?
about this. It's like
today?
a whole seesaw of like a whole seesaw of the way culture works, and like, you know, we were talking about Annie Lennox and all these people that used to like represent pop artists, and then it died out, and then it was just like, you know,
It's a
what I
weird
mean?
like normalising of pop stars.
There was, yeah.
And it was like, and that
Even
kind of
we're growing
became.
up, like kind of 90s, like you move on to that, and it was kind of hard to find like, you know what I mean, queer icons and stuff, especially female queer icons, you know what I mean? It was like they
and
kind of
not
died
like,
out for a while.
and not femme ones. So.
Yeah, exactly. It really did. And I was like, it's weird. She had like Grace Jones and like, do you know what I mean? People like before that was just like, what? Like you look at it now and you're like, fuck, that's rad. It was like 30 years ago. It's like, do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like stuff that's much more rad than now.
I think when you call out for a community now, though, they answer.
Yeah,
And
they
I think
do.
that's
They do.
that's the unbelievable thing. Like even people
Definitely.
you've not met from different
Definitely,
parts
but
of the world.
Yeah, but the pop industry has gone kind of backwards, I'd say, in that way. But you call out for a community, they answer, but like maybe not like a commercial pop industry.
Oh really?
Yeah, yeah.
It's not. There's not
It's
that much.
overridden by femme, kind of like dipping toes in queer culture, femmes, but like, you know, what would be radical now is like what, like King Princess.
Yeah.
Well,
no.
yeah. No, I,
not you know, I'm talking like Annie Lennox, Grace Jones, kind of
Off the record.
who might not even be no on the record completely. Like fuck me, I love King Princess, but I just mean that like that would be your idea of someone that's quite rock and roll with it. Do you know what I mean?
True.
What is that's
Yeah,
what I'm saying.
sorry,
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying you've kind of lost that kind of actual.
Yeah.
Not that's a bad thing. Love her.
What has the response been to the album so far then? Now it's finally out there. People get excited that it's finally out there.
It's funny because we like started it on Sony and it was like you must sell 50,000 copies in the first week. And we're like, it's 4, okay? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, we're like, really? But
Well,
no.
things have obviously moved on in terms of streaming as well
So
and
we've got
vinyl
more
sales.
tangible understanding. It's like you come to these gigs, people buy a copy because they've watched you live, or people come because they've heard it like they've heard the record and they buy it here or whatever. And it's like just I don't know, like we put it online. That's what we did.
And it's what our fans needed. Do you know what I mean? They'd waited for so long. Like, you've been playing our music for this long.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
A long
Like,
time.
A long time.
Years and years and years and years.
You know, it was like as much
Through a
as
name change.
some people are like, you really need to hold it back. You know, you need to wait till you chart. And we were like,
but
fuck
that was
that.
a
We've
label
literally
thing.
we've
It
left
was like,
we've
until
left
you
the label
chart
and
on
waited.
your
People
final
have been waiting
single,
long enough.
You can't release the album until you chart on your final single.
But
then,
we were like,
then you can get to the stage where you're never going to be happy. You know,
That's
and
the
Oh,
thing.
we already
artists-
weren't. We were
You
just
know, we
so
know artists.
long.
We all know artists that have suffered from that because they've been too
Hard to
much
come back from that as
perfectionists.
well.
Yeah.
It's hard enough to come back from this, let alone like once you take that.
yeah, it was
Once
like
you,
it was
like,
just
yeah,
nice to be able
commit
to give
that
it. We were
aspect.
like, yes, guys, here it is. Like, we've finished it, and we're so proud of it, and we love it, and like everybody was just like receptive and lovely, and we had lovely press, and
So great to finally see you. Happy birthday, Sarah.
Thank
I hope you've had a
you.
fabulous day
I have.
in Manchester.
Reva got me a
Oh.
bracelet that says Nimmo. Look at this.
It was also my
Can we
birthday.
see? Can we
2
get a
days
closer?
ago.
Yeah, it was Reva's 2 days ago. I got her
Oh,
far
look,
less
it
good
is
present.
really nice. Have you got matching ones?
No, I'm gonna get one. I'd love your
Maybe you
present so
should.
much.
Maybe you should do
My
it.
birthday was 3 days ago. We're the same year, 3 days apart.
That's amazing. Meant
Yeah.
to be, wasn't it?
Yeah, almost twins. That's what you want. You don't want it to be like fucking weird, but like it's weird.
Someone earlier was like, "How long have you two been in a relationship?" Upstairs, I was like, "Never."
Sod off. Sorry, but just to clear out.
I'm so glad you didn't ask us that.
Sisters. I would slowly fade out now and then cut.
Yeah. Slowly fade out. Check it out. The album's out now.
And dancing